them right now with 7 finalists for NC State.
So Mat 2, 125. Consolation semifinal will feature Camacho out of Pitt. That's Colton Camacho. Remember, Jacob Camacho at NC State has already punched his ticket to tonight's finals, taking on Monteperto from Virginia.
Yeah, Monteperto losing to Flynn and Camacho this year, 1 and 2 in the ACC. Losing to Jacob Camacho, I should say. Did not see Colton Camacho during that regular season.
Monteperto lost to Logan Agan to get dropped down, and now takes on Camacho. Camacho got a win over Spencer Moore before falling to Flynn in a tight one, 4-2.
Yeah, and in that one, that was our first match of the day. It was a double overtime with Moore slipping, just making a slight mistake and ending up on his back, and the takedown going to Camacho to move him on. But now he's trying to wrestle his way back. Only 2 automatic qualifiers in 125, so whoever's working their way is trying to get third and hoping for an at-large bid.
Mat 1, it's Agan from Duke taking on Moore from UNC. There's
Monteperto with a shot, reshot. Camacho keeping him away a little longer. So he has those long legs, long arms, a bit more of a reach on Monteperto.
The 125 final is set. Jacob Camacho will face Cooper Flynn of Virginia Tech. That's one of 5 direct NC State versus Virginia Tech matchups. That'll be in the final tonight on ACC Network, which begins at 7 o'clock. The winner of this match up here between Monteperto and Colton Camacho will face the winner of Agan and Moore, respectively, in the consolation final.
Good job by Camacho. Just keeps it unsettled. Has that underhook on Monteperto. See if he decides to use it before the end of this first period. So it looks like Monteperto there. He wins the flip and elects to be on top.
Camacho in the down position for the Panthers to start the second on mat 2.
So Camacho for Pitt will start down, still zeros here.
One thing benefiting Camacho is he did this last year. He got third at ACCs and had to wrestle his way back as he gets the first takedown after getting up. Great job of getting the escape and immediately going into his attack. Not allowing Monteperto to get set or get ready.
Monteperto on the bottom right now, 9-8 on the season, 16-15 in his career. Camacho with a 4-0 lead.
And I know these say consolation, but like we've said, still very important because at-large bids are at stake. For as we get higher up, there are more automatic qualifications in other weight classes. Just at 125, only 2. So the finalists, Camacho, Jacob Camacho, and Flynn.
.40 Colton Camacho with a mat 2 lead here over Kyle Monteperto. Meanwhile, Spencer Moore with a 4-1 lead on mat 1. It's North Carolina over Duke.
As Monteperto flat right now, Monteperto's got to focus on getting to his base. Kind of take it one step at a time. There he goes. Now next, get one of those legs up. Start your stand-up.
10 seconds remaining in the second. Camacho with a 4-0 lead in riding time, working its way up to 2 minutes.
And end of the second period there. 4-0. This takedown after the escape just keeps on rotating, staying around, and beats Monteperto to the ankle. Just has to scatter. We've seen that a lot from the best wrestlers today. They go in and they keep pursuing that takedown, keep on rotating.
So third period underway. Monteperto starts on the bottom, still looking for his first point. Camacho.
On mat 1, Moore is up 7-1. Logan Hagan, two guys who have wrestled a lot. Duke and UNC, and 1 point. Going to Monteperto, I believe, on a stall. So now Monteperto down by 3, but a lot of riding time built up by Camacho. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So really imagine a 5-1 score right now if this one were to end, and pretty close to that riding time point being secured.
Hagan's in big trouble on mat 1.
Hagan right on his back, as you just said. Could see a pin from Spencer Moore of North Carolina. And right as we say that, Hagan almost able to get out. Great job by Moore to put him on his back. See if he can get the pin. There it is.
Well done by our great crew, Paul Bean, Joe Farrar, and the rest of the gang to give us the dual mat coverage just in time for the pin from Moore from the Tar Heels.
So now he moves on into that third place match. That will be the Consolation Finals coming up after this. Monteperto sits out, but that'll most likely drag Camacho out, and it does. So reset back to the middle. And the riding point's already been secured by Camacho. So Monteperto has to get out and immediately start his pursuit of a takedown as time's starting to get away from him.
Yeah, Camacho looks like he's going to ride it out. And there's two Camachos at 125. Jacob Camacho's in the championship match at 125 tonight. And meanwhile, Colton Camacho will take on Spencer Moore. He's already faced Spencer Moore, so you get to see, that was one you picked, right?
We get a second of the matches to watch.
Well, we'll have to wait and see whether it's going to be on our mat or the other mat, though, Nick. Right?
We will see which one that goes, but Camacho's back in the spot he was a year ago. He has to wrestle to see if he can get that third place spot, as now we move to 133.
There's a whole lot on the line at 133 because they have 3 automatic qualifiers. As we know, NC State Kai already with that big win taking on Latona. Those two are in the championship match. They'll qualify. As we've got Yarbrough from Virginia taking on Palmer from UNC here on mat 2. Adams already rolling against Pitt over on mat 1. You win 2 out of the consolation bracket, and you are also going to Kansas City for the NCAAs March 21 through 23.
Yeah, a lot to wrestle for right here for this 133 weight class, and I mentioned we'll see that a lot more throughout, especially as we get to those higher weight classes that have 4 automatic qualifiers.
Palmer lost his first match to Santaniella out of Pitt 8-3. Meanwhile, Yarbrough got a bye and then lost to Latona in a really tight match.
Here's that takedown. Yarbrough just gets behind, and all he's got to do is just a quick mat return. Once he's down and behind, that gives him the 3 points, so now right on top here in the first period.
So it's 3-0, updated on your ACC Network Extra screen.
We've talked about body type a couple times today, how it affects these matches, and right now we're getting kind of an even matchup with Palmer and Yarbrough. They're very similar heights, obviously, here in that 133 weight class, but sometimes you're wrestling at a little bit different of a weight after weigh-ins, because weigh-ins were this morning. Just very similar builds, a lot of length.
3-1. Yarbrough on top. Meanwhile, it's still zeros over on mat 1 here at 133, where again there's 3 NCAA qualifiers, so the winner to come out of this consolation bracket will also punch a ticket to Kansas City, which is massive.
Yarbrough picks up another takedown, goes from the bear hug, ends up getting into the single leg. The wizard from Palmer just slips out. Good job keeping the feet in. Completes the takedown to go up 6-1. Palmer just needed to keep that arm in and try and pressure down on Yarbrough. Make it as hard as possible for him to get that arm free and complete the attack.
It's now 6-2 as he lets Palmer go.
Santaniello and Adams already in the second period, but that one's pretty close right now. 1-0 separating. Yarbrough controlling this match with over a minute of riding time. Up 6-2. Palmer had 12 wins a year ago. Lost to Latona the consolation round a year ago in 2023.
Yarbrough came into the ACC championships with a 21-17 career record.
Last year, Yarbrough's one win at ACCs was against Jace Palmer, so a familiar face. And someone Yarbrough has gotten the best of. He also beat Santaniello, Latona, and Raymond Adams in the regular season. Only falling to Arini now in the finals.
Run over that elbow, get it drive to the side. Run over it,
Yarbrough trying to work the leg in to flatten out Palmer. Palmer's doing really well to keep this unsettled. Finally breaks out. So a 3-point lead for Yarbrough. Riding time way in favor right now of Yarbrough. Palmer's got to move and start being more aggressive on the attack, see if he can take some shots, start changing levels.
Yeah, Latona the 3 seed with what was a thrilling win over Yarbrough. Forcing Yarborough to do it the hard way, come through the consolation and win to get that third spot. .25 seconds left in the second, and Yarborough's doubled up Palmer.
I mentioned similar body types, but different styles. You're seeing Yarborough, he likes to drop more into that three-pointer or even a four-point stance. He's going low, whereas Palmer, more straight up, a little higher. See, now he's trying to even up the level with Yarborough. Bring in Matt 1. Santaniello still up just by 1 now, under a minute left in the third.
Yarborough Jr.
Down position to begin the third as a 63 lead over Jason Palmer of North Carolina.
Good shot by Adams on that one. But Santaniello is so good defensively, gets the hips and immediately breaks that grip. A quick stall warning will bring them back with 22 seconds left in the third. Now in that final frame, Yarborough gets the escape point to make it 7-3.
Chase Palmer, a redshirt sophomore out of Casper, Wyoming, Kelly Walsh High School.
His opponent, Marlon Yarborough, not your invitational champion, and one second in a row of 1 point this year for taking the loss of Woodlands. Fighting for the second day up in Illinois.
Now Palmer there had the angle. He got to the side of the head. That's where he could have worked in a Russian or tried to use that to get a low single or sweep.
So the riding time points secured for Yarborough, which is huge, just in case Palmer could get a takedown here. That's massive.
That would make it 8-3, so technically he'd be up 5. So Palmer needs a takedown and a reversal or a takedown and some back points, and Yarborough just goes straight at him with the double leg takedown.
Meanwhile, Santaniello gets the win for Pitt. He'll face the winner of this one.
Not a big third place match. Whoever wins goes to Kansas City.
Massive, Nick.
Looks like it's going to be Yarborough going, and it is. Very good match from him. Wrestled really well. Wrestled well in that first round as well when he fell to Latona in the semifinals.
So 11-3. He has now put himself in the consolation final with a ticket to Kansas City on the line. Now we'll go to 141, where same deal, 3 qualifiers. So both of these matches on mat 1 and mat 2 mean so much.
And just look how fast this one started. Both of them being aggressive, a quick caution, potentially dangerous, so they reset it, but both these guys.
So we've got Joffrey from Virginia taking on Crook from Virginia Tech. Tom Crook beat Coleman from Duke in a tech fall 17-2 before falling to Jack from NC State 14-6. Meanwhile, Virginia's wrestler, the number 5 seed, lost to McNeil 12-3.
Both these guys, you can tell, trying to avenge those losses. They came out of the gate firing. Really hard hand fighting here. Crook in his first year. Lost to McNeil a year ago in ACC's first year in 2023, I meant. But he beat Cedino in the first round. It was losing to McNeil in the semifinals, so now trying to wrestle his way back. Might see McNeil again, as he's already got a big lead on Coleman, 6-1 in the first period. So look at Joffrey. A year ago, he was redshirting. This is his first full year as the guy for UVA at 141, as it looks like something needs to be talked over with the officials. I didn't see a brick.
So the officials are going to look at something on mat 2. Crook, a sophomore out of Tampa, Florida, Tampa Jesuit High School. Meanwhile, mat 1 winding down the first period with McNeil. The nice 6-1 lead. Remember, at 141, 3 AQs coming out of the ACC. So you need to win 2 down here in the consolation bracket, and you're headed to Kansas City.
And it looked like their Crook, his eyes looked like he was watering. He was grabbing his right eye. So 1 point awarded. So let's see. He might have gotten a finger close to the eye, and there's, never mind, that headbutt. That's what it was. They take another look to see if it was a little too much. He went straight into that left eye of Crook, and that's where we saw him grab. So he gets awarded the point off of Joffrey.
7-1 lead early in the second period for North
Good eyes from Nick Kloss. We'll link you with you here on mat 2 coverage.
Good job by Joffrey. This could be a takedown. He gets it. He's also got Crook on his back.
Oh, he does. Oh, he had him there.
It's a huge swing. He got some swipes there. Should see some back points.
So a 3-1 lead. Well, give Crook credit for getting out of what looked like a fall situation.
So Joffrey got the takedown and then gets 4 back points on top of it.
So 7-1.
That's how quick it switches. You never, the last thing you want to do is make a mistake that has you end up on your back. He tries to roll. Great job by Joffrey to just keep running his legs, and then
The swipes
he
come
finds
in.
himself in that position. The swipes come. He has the back points, and now he's up 7-1. Escape point for Crook, so 5-point difference now. Still in the first, so very early.
Yeah, plenty of time. Boy, Lachlan McNeil. Might be looking for a tech fall over there on mat 1, Nick.
Matthews got the win over McNeil 4-1, but they're so evenly matched. I mean, 1 or 2 things go another way, and McNeil could be the guy who's wrestling in the finals against Jack. So not shocked to see McNeil run the table, at least in this first consolation round. Should be a much tougher battle when he goes up against either Joffrey or Crook, depending who comes out of this one.
Reminding you tonight on ACC Network, the finals of 141 will feature Cole Matthews out of Pitt taking on Ryan Jack out of NC State. That'll be a fantastic matchup.
It's going to be a really good one. And Matthews for Pitt, trying to be the first 3-time 141 ACC champ. Has the chance to do it against Jack, one of the Pitt NC State matchups we'll see. I know everyone's excited for the Virginia Tech NC State rematches. I believe 5 of those coming in the finals. Another good escape for Crook, so he keeps on stacking up those points.
And we just saw McNeil get a tech fall over Coleman. So McNeil might be considered the favorite for that third spot as he advances for North Carolina to the consolation final. We'll take on the winner of the match we're seeing right here on mat 2.
I would definitely say he's that favorite right now. He wrestled Ryan Jack twice, who's in the final. He wrestled Cole Matthews, who's now in the finals. And he did lose to Tom Crook earlier this season. But that was more of a shock when they were in Blacksburg.
As Jack Geoffrey of Virginia continues to lead Virginia Tech's Tom Crook 7-3 after trying to stay earlier.
Good scramble. I think we're going to see the first takedown for Crook, and we do. Just had great positioning there on Geoffrey, and as quickly as it was 7-1, now 7-6. Crook's right there.
Well, I felt like you knew that was coming when you mentioned how much time was left. Meanwhile, on mat 1, where there's only 2 qualifiers, Papsy, who arrived at Duke after being at NC State, taking on Solomon at Pitt at 149. Just 2 at 149, but 141, the winner of this still has a chance to get that AQ as they'll face McNeil out of North Carolina. It's 8-6.
It felt like right there, Crook might have been able to extend his toes into the mat and reach that right arm around and get the takedown for 3. Instead, he comes out, so makes the reset back, and the official will give the whistle to end that second period. But here's the takedown that got Crook back into it. Snaps down on the head, immediately goes back in. Geoffrey tries to keep it a scramble, but he keeps on churning those legs, pushing it, gets the hand around the hips for a takedown to make it 8-6. It was 7-6 at that time. So Crook right back in it, even though he had a moment where he was on his back earlier in this one. That was back in the first period. Still battles back in striking distance, down by 3. Of the 2 wrestlers, I know Geoffrey's had the lead this whole time, but Crook's been the one that's been better at getting to his takedowns. As you see here, he might get another. He's got to pull him down, and he does.
There it is. We got a good one, and we've had a ton of good ones here on mat 2. I feel like a higher percentage of overtime matchups have happened right here on mat 2.
Quite a bit. A lot of even wrestling, a lot of guys who don't want their season to be over, want to punch their ticket. Both these guys know how valuable and how meaningful this match is.
Looked like a warning to Virginia. 2-leg turning into a 1-leg.
It's a great initiation there from Crook, but just could not keep it in. The positioning wasn't in favor of him to stay in bounds. Virginia Tech really wants a stall call on Geoffrey. He's taking his time to get anywhere. Crook is just out conditioning him right now. Another 3 points to take the lead here late.
Well, Virginia Tech, they have that wrestling rivalry with NC State. Then they just have the natural rivalry, all sports, against Virginia, and you're feeling it.
Geoffrey's getting checked out by trainers. And just he keeps moving. He keeps on moving. Does not let him get comfortable. You see some pain there from Geoffrey. That's why they stopped it and allowed the trainers to come out. But Crook's been the instigator. Geoffrey was able to capitalize on a mistake, get it to 7-1. But in the end, Crook battles all the way back, and you just saw there Geoffrey walking off to get checked out. waiting to get some clarity on what's going on with Joffrey, but Papsy and Solomon on the other mat. Joffrey getting checked out for whatever that injury may be. They obviously want to be very careful before allowing any match to continue. So we'll take it to 149 on mat 1 with Papsy and Solomon, and we'll walk you through that one until we get back into action on mat 2.
Solomon, the 4 seed with a 2-point lead.
Papsy, a guy who wrestled at 141 a year ago, so now up to 149. Doesn't have to worry as much about the cut, but also going up against stronger wrestlers here. Papsy trying to return. Solomon really long, makes it really difficult. That was a good finish from Papsy in that second period to make this one 5-3. He's in striking distance. It'd be a great win for Duke.
Papsy, a 2023 Scholar All-American and also all ACC academic selection for the Blue Devils. It's his second time representing
Papsy on senior night against his former team, NC State, got one of 2 wins for the Duke Blue Devils.
All-American and a 2-time place winner from the Eastern High School. Solomon also, like many others, took it with an impressive resume. He was a 3-time state finalist in Pennsylvania, winning 3A as a junior.
Looks like Solomon trying to bring that leg up of Papsy. He's got one leg in. And there's Solomon trying to go for that cradle. Papsy keeping the arms wide, not allowing him to really get any wrist control on top. Has him fully flattened out with 43 seconds, so secures a riding time point as well. Papsy still down 3 though. He can escape and get a takedown. Still in this match, great escape there from Papsy.
Papsy deals with the shot. He's only down 1 with 22 seconds remaining.
If he can get a takedown, he can get the win. Solomon already has riding time. He's got a point to make it 6-4, but he could win it 7-3. Papsy's got to be aggressive here. Trying to get inside control.
5 seconds, he's got to go now.
Solomon's just going to be able to defend it out until he gets the win, and he will. He moves on to the consolation bracket.
So mat 1 moving right along as Papsy will advance to the consolation final to still face the winner, as we're still over at
number 2 or lack thereof. Jack Geoffrey of Virginia is currently in the back being assessed under protocol for a potential traumatic brain injury, commonly known in the past as a concussion. With that in mind, there is no time.
PA announcer just making it official that Jack Geoffrey on concussion protocol.
He is fit to continue wrestling, so we are still at a standstill as a result at the moment.
So that means over on mat 1, as we will bring it to you here as part of our 2-shot. 157. It's Kessler at Pitt against Ferrero from Duke. Kessler actually pinned Senko and then lost to Santiago. Ferrero from Duke. Tech fall to Andonian. Just 2 qualifiers at 157. Tonight, it'll be Sonny Santiago, the #1 seed for UNC, who beat Kessler 4-2, taking on Ed Scott, who knocked off Andonian 14-5 in pretty impressive fashion. You see Joffrey still in injury protocol. There's only 38 seconds remaining in that match.
Also, just good to see the precautions being taken, obviously, with a head injury. Something they do not take lightly. Want to make sure he's good to go before they restart this match. Like you said, I mean, 38 seconds, but Joffrey very much in it, 12-10, very high scoring. You're at 141, already up to 157 at mat 1. Sonny Santiago, the 1 seed, as you mentioned, took down Kessler. Now Ferrero up 3-1.
Junior Ferrero from Lake St. Louis, Missouri, and Whitfield School. Overall career record coming in of 12-26.
Here Kessler gets in on his underhook. Need a little more movement, though. Now trying to slip inside. Ferrero keeping it really tight. He's got elbow control right now and the wrist. That's Kessler in the right spot right now. But now Kessler gets to his underhook. Like I said, just got to use that. It's kind of like we saw with Highland. His ability to get in on that underhook, and then he just keeps on running at the leg of the side. He has the underhook on and is usually able to toss it by, and obviously a very high IQ wrestler.
10 seconds, Logan.
A 3-1 lead for Ferrero, 157.
Short time, smart here, short time.
Give you a chance real quick to update you on who will be featured tonight at the championships. At 125, it'll be Jacob Camacho taking on Cooper Flynn. That's NC State and Virginia Tech. At 133, it'll be Kai O'Reilly from NC State taking on Latona from Virginia Tech. At 141, it'll be Matthews out of Pitt taking on Jack at NC State. These are tonight's championship matchups on ACC Network. 149, Henson from Virginia Tech against Arrington out of NC State as they move to the second over on mat 1 at 157. Ferrero now with a 4-1 lead. 157, Santiago and Scott, as we've mentioned already, with just 2 AQs. 165, it'll be Hamilton out of Virginia against Brady from Virginia Tech. These are the championship matchups tonight. Brandon Neff and the ACC do such a good job setting that up. All right, so Joffrey back out here for 38 seconds, knows what he's got to do. 174 will be Lewis from Virginia Tech and McCoy. 184, Fishback from NC State against Stewart Jr. out of Virginia Tech. 197, Hidley and Shaw. And heavyweight, Treffin and Katka. So here we go.
I'll just say first, good to see him back. Glad it wasn't any worse as he picks up an immediate escape, and now he knows he's got to go right to work.
Wow, he did it. So 12-11. So Crook needs to make sure he brings something here in the final 25 seconds. He's got to wrestle. Show
There's
some action.
Joffrey. Being very aggressive. Has to be coming up on 10 seconds.
Oh, I thought he almost had Crook falling backwards.
Great duck unders. Got to use it. Slips out.
4 seconds remaining, and that's going to do it.
Saw the frustration from Joffrey. Felt like he had a chance. He hit a great duck under there and almost got to that takedown, but Crook was able to slip out of that carry, and now we'll go from, I believe, Joffrey to Joffrey.
Yeah, we will. So Joffrey at 141 will take on McNeil in the consolation final to try to get that final AQ. And meanwhile, we go to 149, and it'll be Scott from UNC taking on another Joffrey at 149.
Here we go to mat number 1 at 157 with a 4-1 lead of Jared Kessler of Pitt.
Mat won after that long concussion delay.
A little behind.
Kessler tries to work his way out of the down position for the Panthers. We're underway now at 149 pounds.
But I think with the way this 149 bracket, at least the consolation side, is working out, if Scott can get a win over Joffrey, I think he's got a really good look at getting that third spot and potentially an at-large bid with only 2 qualifiers, automatic qualifiers, coming out of 149 of the ACC.
Jaden Scott with an impressive 16-3 win over Jared Papsey before falling to NC State's Arrington 11-2.
And if Scott wins this one, he'll have a rematch with Papsey. Wrestler, like you just said, he has a win over. He also has a lot of familiarity from the regular season. A lot of the Duke guys also have wrestled the UNC guys over the summers, being in such close proximity. A lot of familiarity in the Tobacco Road rivalry. Something they talk about in basketball all the time, too.
Yeah, the big game last night, North Carolina winning over at Duke. Still at zeros, 149. Papsey has already put himself in the consolation final out of Duke. Meanwhile, mat 1 coverage. Herrera with a 4-2 lead over Kessler from Pitt. It's a lot together right now.
Yeah, we've seen a few shots here in this first period, but nothing really that's gotten through. Joffrey with a really good defense there. Scott nearly getting to that double that he likes. Joffrey, a really good wrestler, 2022 California state champ. That's another one of those states that's really tough to win.
Congratulations to Logan Ferrero, who does advance to 157 consolation final, where again there are only 2 AQs. That'll be Santiago for North Carolina and Scott tonight at 157.
Just heard him warning from mat 2 saying fingers. It's the interlocking that the officials are looking for. Quiet first period between those two. Scott did see Joffrey during the regular season, 16-11 on the year, and beat Joffrey in the duel against Virginia.
Michael Joffrey coming in 9-6. Looks like they've slowed things down a little bit now on mat 1.
There's the first point, finally breaking through at 149. Background of Scott right there, that's his teammate, Tyler Eichens. You just mentioned they're slowing down Mat 1 to try and get things closer together again, and Eichens was encouraging Scott, giving him some coaching tips. Eichens, fifth-year senior who's had a lot of experience wrestling at the college level.
Just to clarify, Mat 1, they're actually in their break through the first 5 weight classes.
Keep that kickstand up into it.
No one's been able to get into a leg. Sorry, Dean, on this one. It's been very slow. Scott was able to get that one escape, but and it hasn't been stalling. Both the guys are working for something, and they're trying to get the positioning on the other. It's good defense so far.
For that. Work. Bounce him. Elbows in.
17 seconds remaining in the second. Scott, a slim 1-0 lead at 149. Where just 2 automatic NCAA qualifiers. It'll be Henson and Arrington from Virginia Tech and NC State respectively.
So through 2 periods, still that one escape from Scott. If I had to guess, I'd say Joffrey, he's going to go for that escape. He could even end up at 1-1, and then you need to see a takedown come between one of the 2.
Scott not with a huge battle there to try to keep him down.
Scott, who had won 4 consecutive matches before he was into the semifinals.
I mean, Scott probably has some confidence that he can get to the takedown he wants. He has been doing it well today. You mentioned his success he had in his earlier match against Papsy. That one was 16-3, stacked up takedowns. Now he's starting to get low into that 3-point stance. Joffrey's bringing him up every single time, trying to get him higher on that tie.
Has placed in a few different tournament style events here the last few years for the Cavaliers.
Stall called and brings us back to neutral in the middle with under a minute in the third, excuse me.
Scott continues to stay low. He needs to make something happen here just to try and avoid overtime where anything can happen.
Yeah, just not much movement right now. There's something. There's Scott finally going in for a shot. Trying to use that hesitation or fake shot from Joffrey to counterattack. She's got 15 seconds, but with overtime, both of them not in a rush, it seems.
Isaiah Estrada of North Carolina and Holden Howard of Pitt. Scoreless through 1 over Mat number 1 at 165 pounds. Meanwhile, after ending the third period, 9-1 on Mat 2. Here, a redshirt freshman, 149 pounders, square off now in second victory period.
So yet another sudden victory situation here on Mat 2, Nick Kloss.
We're seeing it a lot today. Scott's in a really good spot. He's got to drag him back in. He doesn't seem to have the momentum. They're going to call him out anyways. Scott doesn't agree, but have to go back to center. I felt he had his toes in too. He could have pulled him back in. He was starting to, but official elects to bring them back to neutral position in the middle. Now you're starting to see these guys start to move. Duck attempt there, Scott.
Scott, can he get around him?
That was the duck from Joffrey that Scott's now trying to get a takedown out of. He's got to slip that right arm. If he can get that out of the whizzer from Joffrey, he'll have the takedown and the win. Now he's got to get to the other ankle. All right. Scott's got to pull him in.
Yep, if he can pull him in and then get his body around top of the shoulder.
He's got to stand up. Stand up, bring him in. Bring it into a high single. He's got 50 seconds. Time is with him. So he almost gets there, now pushed out. Great fight there from Joffrey to stay alive. Scott was in a really good position to finish that match.
So Matt 1, by the way, is already at 174, where they have 4 NCAA qualifiers. So that's a matchup where you win, you're in. That is huge. And Ishins with a 1-0 lead over Augustine from Pitt.
Scott in a really good position, and UNC fans and all the other UNC wrestlers were calling for that takedown, but Scott just can't get full control. And now we'll go to double overtime where we get those 30-second periods. So Joffrey's going to start on bottom first.
Remember, at 165, there was only 5 wrestlers, so Fields from NC State is already in the consolation final.
So one quick escape there from Joffrey gives him a 2-1 lead. Now Scott can try and get a takedown to put him up. Great throw from Joffrey. It was at the end of the period and it was out. But a really good job to use Scott, who was pushing his momentum into him. He had the underhooks. He just drops his hips. Lets the guy fly over. Probably the best throw we've seen executed today.
There's a really quick release from Joffrey. We'll see how quick Scott can get out of there. There's the whistle, tries to roll out of it. Now tries to roll back, stands up, rips.
Great job by
gets
Scott.
It. So Scott's got it. Ishins actually. Did he get a pin over there?
Got a pin. Gets the pin over Augustine, so he's moving on.
So he's made it. He has punched his ticket. Ishins out of North Carolina is headed to Kansas City. Here we go. Take a look at it.
Just turns him, and that's the Greco. That is the Greco style. He's got double overhooks, puts him on his back, and just pushes in, puts the shoulder blades down, gets the pin.
Well done, Nick Kloss.
So now even, double overtime, minute period.
What a battle we've got here between Scott and Joffrey at 149 still.
See if Scott can complete it. He's just got to get to the other side. Don't know. Joffrey was trying to get in, and there's Scott with the takedown.
And he's done it here at Carmichael Arena.
And with that last bit of control over mat number 2, Jaden Scott emerges victorious.
So Scott will take on Papsy for the second time. And I like what you're saying about a potential at-large from Scott. If he can take care of Papsy for a second time, you never know. That's kind of what you were trying to say, I think, Nick, earlier.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. He had to take care of business there. He does. And then Papsy, he's already had a major decision over him in this tournament today. So he's got a good look at heading to the NCAA tournament and getting an at-large bid. Now, it's not a guarantee, but Jaden Scott hoping that's the way it goes.
Andonian looking for a rematch against Ferrero. He had a tech fall in under 7 minutes, 21-5 over Ferrero. Right now he's got to see what he can do against Senko from Virginia. Senko was pinned by Kessler. Andonian has had an impressive career, so he's another guy that I think you got to keep an eye on for an at-large bid as long as he wins this.
Yeah, Andonian's definitely the caliber of an NCAA qualifier.
At 184 pounds, also underweight on
Something he expects of himself is to get to the NCAA tournament, has to bank on the at-large bid, which none of these wrestlers obviously want to do, but with only the top 2 getting in, once you lose, you got to work on wrestling your way back, and that 3rd place is your best chance. It's your only chance.
As there was beforehand with that fall by Eichens, advancing the Tar Heel to Kansas City with the qualifier at 174 pounds.
Yeah, congratulations to Mr. Eichens for the Tar Heels to earn a spot in Kansas City for North Carolina.
Yeah, I expect Andonian to continue what he's done the last 2 years. He's a 2022 and 2023 All-American. He came in 3rd at 149 back in 22 at Nationals. Came in 7th at 157 a year ago. So he's definitely that caliber. He's a 4-time NCAA qualifier.
That's why I think he wins. He's in even with just 2.
Usually he's used to being in that final match, and he's been a runner-up. He's never been an ACC champ, but this year he falls and he ends up in this consolation bracket. But if he's able to wrestle back, get that 3rd place win, I'd imagine he would be one of the at-large bids out of the ACC.
Those pair of 184 pounders begin the second with Heller working his way out of the down position for the Panthers.
We're at 157 on mat 2. They're already at 184 over at mat 1 as we had a long delay concussion protocol early here on mat 2. Andonian in a little bit of trouble here.
Good job by Senko. That's going to go down as a takedown. I might use the word reversal to describe it because it felt like Andonian was the one being the aggressor attacking. Senko flips it. And the stall, I felt the stall was coming. It was end of the 1st, so didn't need anything to go.
Andonian's injured. He's got his hand on that leg that is wrapped up quite a bit. Ooh, you saw the head come right in on that leg as well. Chin almost, right?
Came on the inside of the knee. That's somewhere really hurts to take anything there. Obviously, we know how sensitive that area can be on your knee, and especially with the different tears that can come in that spot. But on that takedown, it looked like Senko got the leg. Andonian was looking for the scramble, but just didn't quite get it. You mentioned Senko did keep on being aggressive and hit his head into that knee, so maybe that's a reason Andonian gave up the 3.
I don't know if you saw on that replay there, he actually had his own hand on his leg trying to give it more support. And here's now better work from Andonian, trying to get all the way around. There it is. Wow, big trouble now for Senko, trying to spin out of it. Nice response from Andonian, which he needed, because I don't think with a loss he would get that AQ. I just don't.
Now with a loss, I think his season might be over here at ACC's. He's got to get to that 3rd place spot if he wants to
win it, I think, right?
If he wants to see Kansas City in the NCAA tournament.
At 197 on mat 1, Reese Heller with a 4-0 lead over Virginia's Ethan Weatherspoon. 184, my apologies.
And now this is more Andonian's match. You can see him being in control. He got those back points off of Senko, which gets him to 7-3. Now has him flattened out. And this is what we talked about earlier with how hard it is to just be on bottom for that long. You're going to get out of this, and Senko is going to be pretty tired going into that 3rd period, but it goes both ways. It's hard to be an Andonian on top as well when you got a guy fighting against it. And here's a look at where those back points probably came, and it's right there. All the control there is with Andonian, who has the cross chin or cross face and has the leg in, works it back to flatten him out, and just see the strain on Senko, how tough that is to be in that position.
Great to be joined by Nick Kloss here as part of our Mat 2 coverage of the 2024 ACC Wrestling Championships at Carmichael and Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Sunday, a full day of wrestling, including 7 p.m. tonight, where you'll crown a team champion, 10 champions, and of course the wrestler of the ACC championship. We mentioned it earlier, Nick Kloss, but that is an amazing honor to be named the wrestler of the ACC Wrestling Championships.
Oh, it really is, and it's something we have a former wrestler of the ACC championships in Lewis for Virginia Tech, and we've seen the career he's had. Curious of who it could be here in 2024.
Andonian, who fell behind and was grabbing that leg that is wrapped up.
Got a pretty thick brace on that right knee.
No point of the awarded for advantage time, but we have a winner to report to you on mat number 1. A 8-4 victory at 184 pounds for Reese Heller of Pitt. Winner over Ethan Weatherspoon of Virginia. Heller moves on.
You may have heard as Reese Heller has just punched his ticket to Kansas City for Pitt by beating Weatherspoon. Heller came in as the 2 seed and was knocked off by Fishback at NC State, the 3 seed, but Heller with 4 qualifiers at 184 is in. Andonian, we believe, and again, Nick knows a lot, but it's not like we can guarantee it, but based on his background, we think Andonian could get one of those at-large bids.
I was waiting for an official to call a dangerous move or something. He was really pushing in on that knee of Andonian, and you could tell he was not comfortable. Senko, it doesn't work out for him anyways. 20 seconds left. So it looks like Andonian's going to get that win. That moves him to the Consolation Finals. And I think, like you said, I think if he gets the win there, he can keep his streak of heading to the NCAAs fully intact.
And Andonian grabs that knee again, but he also grabs a victory. So Andonian will advance and hopefully have a chance to earn an at-large bid. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back with more Consolation Wrestling as part of our coverage of the 2024 ACC Wrestling Championships out of NC State as we get ready now for Estrada from North Carolina taking on Heller out of Pitt. 165 with just 2 AQs. So we'll see who will face Fields. Estrada from North Carolina fell to Hamilton 14-2 out of Virginia in his first match. Heller, who got a bye. Remember, Duke did not have a wrestler at 165. And then he took on the talented Brady from Virginia Tech, where he lost 9-3.
Yeah, Heller, a transfer from Hofstra, was an EIWA champ there in 2021 at 157, now at 165. Him and his brother both transferring to Pitt together. Going up against Estrada, whoever wins this one has Fields, because he had that bye as only 5 wrestlers in 165, as Dean has so nicely explained. There's Estrada getting to that underhook briefly. See if Heller can get to that rush, and he slips out. Estrada, 2-time Colorado State champ, but has yet to really find his complete footing as a college wrestler. Heller's in a good spot here. Got to get to that other ankle. The Wizard from Estrada standing strong.
It looks like Estrada was trying to find his way out of bounds. Now will turn back in, and when he does, decent little move, but runs out of real estate.
If that could only have been about 6 feet to the left, as you see here, he extends his hips, puts the hips down, and then just is able to get the other arm and has leverage to put Heller potentially on his back. Heller seemed to swing out of it, but it doesn't matter. It was out of bounds anyways.
Mat 1 already has heavyweight on deck, as they are that far ahead. They did not have the delays. They also had the fall over there, which sped things up. We had concussion protocol that lasted quite a long time.
And a couple of reviews and a few different things slowed us down, but now 165, and Heller trying to get around. Estrada locking that wrist. He's in a good spot here. Go to the other hip and push. He can get the takedown. He decides to go for the cradle. Get that right arm out. Can reach around. The ankle's close enough. He's got it out. But a good job by Heller to get in that semi-split. Looks like Estrada's, if he's going to try and get to that other foot, it'll bring him out of bounds. And Estrada notices, tries to pull him in, but Heller gets out.
Over on Mat 1, 197 has 4 AQs, so the winner of this matchup between Kinsey and Smith will qualify for the NCAAs in Kansas City, March 21 through 23. And Kinsey with an 8-3 lead. No scores. We start the second here.
Estrada and Heller looking pretty even here early. See if Heller can get this escape point to break the even. Good return from Estrada. Heller pinned Estrada earlier this year. There's that first point finally with the escape.
I mean, how about that response from Heller? He gets thrown down by Estrada. He literally just pops right back up and then gets the point. I mean, he was not down for longer than a second, right? He just popped right back up.
And that's the resiliency, but also conditioning when you think about it, because you get dropped down and you're just, your first instinct is pop right back up, get back to your feet, which is what he needs to be doing. Good defense from Estrada.
The Wolfpack's Fields awaiting the winner of this one in the Consolation Finals. 165 tonight on the ACC network. In the championship match will be Hamilton out of Virginia taking on Brady out of Virginia Tech. So we already told you Virginia Tech and NC State are going to meet 5 times, and then you throw in Virginia Tech and Virginia, and the Hokies fans will make a lot of noise in those matchups.
Now Heller's in a position for 3 points right here. Almost has it.
Can he get that arm through? Yes.
Just waiting for the arm of Estrada to eventually give out as Heller kept pushing up. Goes up 4-0 now, going in the third period in a really good spot. Estrada's got to wrestle from behind, so he'll look to be attacking in that third period. And that's right where that left arm is of Estrada. That's the wizard, which is defending against that takedown. And once that slips out, that's when Heller has the freedom to get around to that other hip and get 3 points.
You may have heard the PA announcer confirming that Christian Kinsey, with a win over Smith from Virginia Tech, has made it to the consolation final at 197, when with 4 AQs he's also made it to Kansas City. That is massive.
Already to Katka and Barquette on mat 1. Heavyweight bout.
It's Connor Barkett wrestling for Duke against Ryan Katka of Virginia. Following that match, the 184-pound consolation semifinal, originally slated for mat 2, has been shifted over to mat 1. So Gavin Kane and Connor Becker do battle in their consolation semifinal after the conclusion of the match taking place right now on mat 1 between Barkett and Ryan Katka.
You're hearing the PA announcer announce some changes as far as mat 1 and mat 2, which is some of the things they need to do. They have to have time to get it down to just 1 mat for the 7 o'clock linear broadcast of the ACC championships, and they work hard to get it ready.
It's a show. Some pyrotechnics, some smoke. I actually don't know what they're doing.
No, they do a lot. Yeah, they do all that stuff. The only thing they weren't allowed was fire, but they'll have the smoke. They've had fire before. Brandon Neff, who has now been with the ACC for a long, long time. I interviewed him way back when he had the same title in the Southern Conference during a Furman soccer game on Fox Soccer Channel in the early 2000s. He's been a mainstay at the ACC forever, and just a first-class individual. He's got a couple boys that are big-time athletes.
It's a good takedown from Estrada. Estrada with a nice gator roll. He could have gotten that in bounds. It would have been huge, but instead loses by 1 to Heller, who gets to move on to take on Fields in the consolation finals.
Heller 4-3 will take on Derek Fields. So 174. The winner of this match right here will be in Kansas City. So you got to love it. Eichen's already with that great win over Augustine. And now here's what's interesting. I mean, you got to figure NC State Stars, the big favorite, Consol, actually moved up a weight to go at 174. And if he can somehow pull off a miracle, that'll keep Glenn Lanham's streak alive of sending a Duke athlete to the NCAAs. Of course, he might have some other opportunities. I haven't looked at every bracket for an AQ, but I think it's limited at best. Fair to say?
I believe so. Right now, Barkett at 285. He's trying to get in that large bid. Taking on Katka.
Yeah, you had mentioned earlier that you liked his chances potentially.
He could. Coach Lanham has picked him out as someone he thinks has the skill to get there. Obviously, he's got to pick up the wins. I know coming down the stretch, there were some big wins he picked up, especially in ACC play, but it's not guaranteed. If not this year, he definitely has a good look at next year and a good understanding of how to wrestle at the heavyweight position in the ACC. So he's got a really bright future either way. Same thing with Gaetano Consol, someone who Coach Lanham says is a guy who does everything right, works hard every single day.
Still zeros here in this one. That means so much because there are 4 automatic qualifiers out of 174. So the winner of the match right in front of us here, Mat 2, ACC Network Extra, will not only meet Eichen's, but it won't matter as they will have already qualified for the NCAAs. Doesn't happen that often, but there have been times when you get to the consolation final where one of the wrestlers at times does elect to sit out knowing that they're headed to Kansas City, depending on their health. Still at zeros here, Nick.
Yeah, right now, little surprising. Consol really struggled in ACC wrestling. Obviously did not wrestle at 174. And there's Faison taking the initiative I thought he would. I think he's a very good wrestler. Obviously how he's done today. He has 4 or a couple ranked wins in the year. He's a captain for a reason. He qualified for NCAAs a year ago.
Trying to ensure he gets back there, and he will if he can hang on to this win.
Just a really good job. Gets across to that other knee, is able to pull it in while putting that left shoulder into the rib of Consol for that takedown.
Faison with the thriller over Augustine from Pitt, and then he lost to Lewis, but it wasn't easy for Lewis. I mean, final score is 5-1. I felt like he represented himself well as he gets some more points here.
He's lost to Lewis in double overtime in his career, so a guy he has been up there with, which is really saying something for how good Lewis is.
Saying a ton. Well said.
And that's why I think that Faison is a guy that, you know, can take care of business here in the semifinals and is looking to get that 3rd place spot in an AQ right here. As you see there, kind of does what his teammate Ivey's done a lot today in that one match he's wrestled. He got to the underhook with his right arm, started to rotate, pushing in, gets to the leg and swings behind for the takedown to make it 6-1.
Yeah, like Hiley, almost in bulldozer fashion, Nick.
Exactly. That's what I like about the NC State wrestlers. They wrestle like nothing's in their way. They can do what they want. They wrestle with a lot of confidence. And it's amazing how much the mental side comes into wrestling, because a lot of guys, they talk about, hey, in the room they do really well and in practice they're doing really well, but can it click on the mat? That's a big part of it. If it can't, you know, you're not going to pick up those wins, and that's why you have guys who coaches talk about, oh, he's great. Sometimes he's just cold, he can't get it together.
He's on with more points. Wait, he put the 3 up, then he waved it off? Did you see that?
I believe so. He put the 3 up and then immediately waved it off. And here's another look at it. We'll see if great drag by, keeps pushing it away. I think right there's a takedown. Right where he put his hands up, just like the official. I thought that's 3. I don't know why they'd take that away. They might have felt once he got down, then Consol immediately started to slip out, which wouldn't have been control for the 3 points. Either way, Faison up 7-1.
Faison has a little over a minute left here in the second. He has shown the ability to tech fall opposition. It's another way to lock it up. Decent track of that.
Yeah, if you want to end a match early, you got 2 options: pin or tech fall, and the tech falls win by 15 or more. Once you get to 15, they'll just end the match, which we've seen once or twice today.
Yeah.
Tech fall's not as common once you get to this ACC championship, but some of those 1 seeds just very talented. Ishins, you know, from North Carolina, had a tech earlier.
Hidley has pretty much, I think, tech followed everybody in his weight class this season.
Wouldn't surprise me. If you look at Hidley's record this year, he's 5-0 in the ACC. Tech fault Max Stout, tech fault Max Shaw, tech fault Andy Smith. Major decision on Kinsey, and then tech fault Kwasi Bonsu. So only 1 has lasted a full match.
Thanks for the double check there as he's on with his 7-1 lead.
285 pounds next session, as we will head back to 184 with our next match on mat number 1. Gavin Kane of North Carolina.
So heading into that third period in the other match, Gavin Kane now going against Connor Becker of Duke on mat 1. As you mentioned, we have some switching going on, trying to get through the matches quick.
So pretty sure Katko won, right, over Barquette from Duke. Is that right?
I do not know for sure. Try and get word on that. Looks like needed some blood time. Consol did come into this one. You see it on his nose. He already had a cut, so it looks like it got agitated. Needed some blood time going into this third period.
Gonna try to roll out of this. And spin out for a point. Consol basically needs some sort of miracle move here and a pin. What a story that would be, as Duke really limited this year on depth. They had some athletes decide to graduate and not come back. They are a really young team. Well, there for a while, Glenn Lanham with the 4 fine silvers, and Casper had 5 automatics, like pretty much every year for the NCAAs. Now, the fine silvers.
Fine silver dynasty.
Oh my goodness. 2 sets of twins coming out of Colorado, and really kind of putting Duke wrestling on the map during that time.
I mentioned it with Cat Cut. Siblings in wrestling.
Yeah.
They do really well. Especially twins, because they're usually same size, same build, you're the same age. So you're always practicing together. You always have a built-in partner. Got some more blood time here. on mat 2, which is the extended match mat. We've had multiple long matches here on mat 2.
There was one year, at least, where all 4 fine silvers made the NCAAs. 3 made it through the automatic qualifier. 1 made it as an at-large.
Yeah, now Duke trying to get back to a position where they're sending guys every single year. And this year, you just mentioned it, a very young team, so a lot to build towards. Console obviously wrestling up to 174, so not his usual weight. He wrestled at 174 for a duel against UNC last year, so not uncommon. And there it is again from Faison. Very similar to his teammate Hidley. Gets to the underhook and uses that. Could drop Console to his back right here, and Console sees it coming and gets to his stomach.
So Alex Faison, who went last year, is going to do it again. And do what? Well, he's going to go to the NCAAs. This time it'll be in Kansas City. And he'll get a pin as well. How about that with 2 seconds remaining?
Just for good measure. And also, that helps with the team score.
Yeah.
That does bump up NC State, who right now is with a commanding lead over Virginia Tech, and especially with so many guys in the finals, that's going to continue to go up. There's a look at that pin again. See, Console just trying to get around in a scramble. Faison's so good, he just sees it. He's like, okay, he's on his side. And we just throw in the extended half, get around and put him to his back and get the quick pin.
All right, so now mat 2 with Kinsey already beating Smith. We'll see Bonzu from Duke taking on Max Stout from Pitt. 4 in, so for the second consecutive match here on mat 2, the winner will advance to the NCAAs with 4 automatic qualifiers. So heating up a little drama now, including on our mat, where earlier mat 1 was getting all of those matchups that were punching tickets.
And I have a lot of respect for Kwasi Bonsu's true freshman. Had to step in to a role starting at 197, which we've talked about is a really tough weight class. And Coach Lanham's talked about him, and he's got the strength, he's got the build, and in high school, that build and that strength can get you a very long way. Well, now he's got to learn to wrestle with the best guys in the country, especially at 197. In the ACC. We've already talked about it, how Hidley kind of owns that weight class, and then the guys above him are also really good. Kinsey was the 5 seed, maxed out 4. Andy Smith, Max Shaw are 3 and the 2.
Stout tech fought Bonzu not that long ago, February 2nd, by a score of 18-2. It took him 4 minutes and 44 seconds.
And it's just experience for Bonsu. He's in his first year of college wrestling. It's going to be a lot of learning here in his first year, and excited to see what he takes from it. And after a full summer in the room, if he puts everything into it, could make a big step forward in year 2. Now Stout's going to roll him for some back points. There are the swipes. We should get 4 here. Only 2. They said he wasn't close enough on that 3rd one. So you see he grabs that wrist on the other side, has the elbow, sits into the roll. You can also do that from the riding position and go down and flip them into the roll. He just elects to sit down into it. A great way to get back points there for Stout. Taking a review. I don't know if they're questioning the count of how many back points that should be. I felt like so checking if the shoulder hits the ground there. I believe I saw it tap for a moment. And it looks like shoulder does touch.
Stout, a redshirt freshman out of Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, Mount Lebanon High School. Came in with a college record of 26-8.
With 1 minute and 52 seconds.
So another official review on Mat 2. Mat 1. Gavin Kane just got the win over Connor Becker, 6-1.
To move on to the third place match.
So Gavin Kane with a 6-1 win. And he is in. So Gavin Kane has made it to Kansas City in the NCAA. Is at 184. There's 4 automatic qualifiers, including tonight when Thomas Stewart Jr. from Virginia Tech will take on Dylan Fishback from NC State. Fishback beating the number 2 seed Heller.
So it looks like it's actually going to be 2 points taken away. It was an illegal kickback going against Stout. Gives a point to Bonsu and takes 2 points away. So those back points are no more from Stout. They took a good look at that one. Something I didn't really see on that first look, but as he was pulling down, hits the kickback. He's going to get a quick caution for going early for Stout. Bonsu with a good turn. Stout keeping that single leg, can just return him back and then continue the ride. Bonsu doing a lot of reaching back, which coaches don't love to see. It can put you in a really bad position. Just trying to turn around. Stout, good job with that leg in, uses the arm to get Bonsu back to his stomach.
It's been a long first period here.
Yeah, taking some time here, and Stout with over 2 minutes of riding time now.
Bonsu with 17 seconds will be down.
As we continue to round out the Consolation Semifinals of the 2024 ACC West.
Colton Camacho now taking on Spencer Moore over on Mat 1.
Rematch from earlier today.
Yeah,
That's a big one, trying to get an at-large bid. Both those guys.
A 6-4 lead for Max Stout of
See there, Bonsu
Bonsu of 2.
showing on his back, just couldn't quite move. There he goes, turns around, gets him to his stomach. A good reversal there from Bonsu to get 2 points. Puts himself in striking distance even with that riding time point.
well, that's huge, right? Like that would remove any doubt on whether Duke is sending somebody out. Now, just like that, Stout gets the 2 points back, though, Nick.
And that last reversal from Bonsu, it was a good job by him to turn and get on top, but Stout just more of the veteran wrestler, and he's just getting to his takedowns much easier. Bonsu really learning this year how to defend against really good wrestlers that can get to the moves they want.
No, don't let him roll your wrist back. Put it back. Post your hand. Put your hips back. Post your hand.
Yeah, you look at Bonsu and you feel like he could have a moment, right? I mean, he is got muscles on top of muscles.
You look at him and physically he's just a tank.
Yeah.
It's just the wrestling IQ needs to come with it, and Coach Lanham just said it's all about reps. He's got to keep on getting reps, keep on getting opportunities. And this season, as tough as it may be, getting all the licks he has, wrestling some of the best guys in the country, you're going to learn from that. And now it's up to him going into year 2 to take it, learn from it, and really figure out how to get better as Stout with another nice takedown.
Boy, a double leg. He's got that riding time at 3, and that is going to wear you out any way you look at it.
Yeah, in the second period, 10 seconds left, still has a whole third to go, so could be looking at another tech fall.
So we'll head to the third. Stout. This last takedown, pretty impressive.
Yeah, just going straight in on the double leg. Just changes his levels, and that's what I'm saying from Bonsu about the defense. Got to be ready for that. He's so strong. He has the strength to just put his hips down and push down into Stout, but that'll come with time. And just a quick blood check. Looks like they had some on the mat there.
Bonsu. I mean, Stout as well. I mean, neither one of them look like they have even an ounce of body fat on them. Just ripped and ripped. Another double leg, single leg, back to the double leg, and Stout really kind of bringing some heat now.
He knows he has this in control. Kind of surprised he hasn't just worked into, hey, I'm going to let him up and take him down, because he's getting to the takedowns he wants so easily. There's no point in wasting the energy of riding, especially when 3:35 in riding time. So do exactly what I just said. Get behind. Bonsu, you can tell he's really tired. Understandable with 3:35 of riding time. He
is so close. Stout is now to getting a tech fall. That'll be a fascinating matchup against Kinsey, but it does not matter as Stout is going to get 3 more, and there it is, the tech fall. So Stout from Pitt will represent the Panthers in Kansas City at the NCAA Championships later this month. And don't forget, at 197 tonight, the big timer Trent Hidley will take on Max Shaw from North Carolina in the ACC Championships. So this is the heavyweight consolation semifinal. The Pitzer from Pitt taking on Cade out from UNC. Ryan Katka beat Cade 14-3. Pitzer actually beat Barquette 1-0 before falling to Treffen out of NC State 7-3. So only 2 AQs in heavyweight.
The 19th and final consolation semifinal match is underway on mat number 2 at 285 pounds.
Spencer Moore right now up in that third place match on mat 1 in the third period.
The number 16 from North Carolina.
And Lau just trying to make possibly a little splash here as a 6 seed getting into the third place match.
Stop. Stalemate.
Over a minute 15 into the first here. Heavyweight consolation match.
Little heavyweight scramble. Lau lets it go, and Pitzer comes up with that first takedown.
So a 3-0 lead for Pitzer.
He's working in that arm bar on left arm of Lau. Lau trying to stay spread with his arm straight. Slipping out of there. Pitzer stacking up some riding time. Lau not a super easy guy to take down. You see it more in heavyweights, guys trying to work the top and trying to get a turn for a pin. So where the toss goes, it goes green, so Lau gets to choose. He deferred, and Pitzer going bottom to start this second period.
It is 2-0 victory over Colton Camacho of Pitt.
So after Moore lost to Camacho earlier today, he gets the win for the third place match for 125. And a really tight one.
Moore from North Carolina. Only 2 AQs. Not sure if he's got the resume for a at-large.
Bout number 61 underway, wrestling for third place, as well as the third and final automatic qualification from the conference at 141 pounds. It is Tom Crook wrestling for Virginia Tech, taking on Lachlan McNeil of North Carolina.
On mat 1, Crook and McNeil. McNeil lost to Crook earlier this year. McNeil's still looking for that first ACC win of the year, which is something crazy to say about Lachlan McNeil, who has been the number 5 wrestler in the country at 141 all year long. But I do think it's played in that he's been traveling a lot back and forth between Canada and the US trying to qualify for the Paris Olympics. He's switching styles between freestyle and folk style, which can definitely factor in.
Great point.
Because right now he's controlling Crook on mat 1, just like Pitzer controlling Lout here on mat 2.
Yeah, Pitzer looking pretty comfortable, and he's got Lout in big trouble here. Really big trouble. Multiple swipes, there it is. Yep, and that'll do it.
Good pin there from Pitzer. Like I said a couple moments ago, heavyweight, you'll see that more. He'll ride out. Pitzer did not want to try and just get takedowns. You see that sometimes. They'll let him up, take down, but Pitzer feels much more comfortable trying to get that pin. Works kind of a semi-arm bar with the half Nelson, gets over out to his back, and then just has to keep on pressing until he gets that pin, and he does. So now, moving on.